Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. My name is Mike Gibson. Tonight, wow, man, I am really messing this up. I forgot the word nerds. Here's what happened. Let me walk you through my brain. The word nerds just didn't exist for me for a second there, as you heard from that pause.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I was like, when I remembered it, I was like, good job. You're back on track. But I was like so busy congratulating myself that I forgot what the next step was.
Right.
Which is normally me saying, tonight we are recapping the week's dirty news from Lothal to Wakanda and everywhere in between. Then I say, my name is Mike Gibson. And then I say, with me as always is Steve Haller. What's up, Steve?
A lot of
So
fumbling.
we got there.
That's what's up.
A lot of fumbling right out of the gate, and it's all my fault.
We got it, though.
My fault.
We got it. We are back on track, maybe for at least, we're on the rails for at least another 3 to 5 seconds.
At least for another 3 to 5 seconds until I mention our sponsor.
Couldn't remember
Funky
sponsor
Tune,
either, could you?
Funky Tune, Kumix, and Twows. That's how you... Damn it! I thought we had it.
Toi, it's French.
Twa.
No, Funky Town Comics and Vinyl.
That's right.
There isn't even toys
That's
in
right.
there. There is
know.
toys in
I
the
know.
store, though.
Plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty.
Did you make it
I was
down to the
kidding.
shop
Of course
today?
I know. I did not. I did not make it down to Funky Town.
There's
this
a song
past
about
week.
that, I've heard.
Yeah, somebody begging to be taken there.
Mhm.
Which
That
is
was my son earlier this week, I think.
oh yeah.
We didn't go, but...
My son's got a gift card, so he wants to go too.
Oh, nice.
But I normally go when he's at school,
Mm,
so I can like linger and take my time looking at all the things that he thinks is boring or doesn't care about. You know?
You know how few times I hear the word linger used, and when you said that, it immediately put the Cranberry song in my head?
Do you have to? Do you have to?
Yes, I have to let it linger.
You do.
But the...
You know, Steve. You know I'm such a fool for you.
God damn it, Mike.
What? You got me wrapped around your finger.
If you want to let this linger, you should probably check out our Patreon at patreon.com/themultiverse-report, where you can
Yeah, you should do
find levels of pledge that allow you to hear all of our ridiculous pre-roll and B-roll that would include many, many bits like this because, well, if
Yeah.
you think this is crazy, there are, things get weird before the show.
Often.
Yep.
Oftentimes. Speaking of weird, you know what's weird?
What's that?
Wars. Star Wars can be weird sometimes.
It can be.
Don't you
Can
think?
be. Yeah, well,
it
when there's various CGI incarnations of Jabba's palace that really make me want to question musical choices, yeah, that can get weird.
That's very weird. I wasn't even thinking of that kind of weird. That's just weird in general. Watched The New Hope with my son over the
Oh,
past
I
couple
thought you were
nights.
just referring to the holiday special because that was pretty weird too.
Oh no, holiday special, incredibly weird. There's weird all across Star Wars, which is part of the reason that I love it. But it also like the weird stuff in Star Wars also just feels like it belongs at the same time. And sometimes I gotta like step back and be like, that's a weird looking thing, you know? But I'm just
This is not
my
normal.
brain's like, I'm watching Star Wars, so it's acceptable.
Yeah.
No, my son wanted to watch A New Hope a few days ago. We like kind of piecemealed it over the last few days. And hey, hot take, that movie rules.
I don't know if that's really a hot take, buddy. That might
I
be the most lukewarm take you've ever thrown out there.
Yeah, especially for people listening to a podcast like this.
Yeah.
No, it's just great. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
It's just like I was like, I hadn't seen it in a while, but I've seen it 1,000 times.
Right.
But God damn it, that trench run at the end, just I was so pumped. I was like, this
Oh,
rules.
every
This is
time.
just the greatest. This is the greatest thing in any movie ever. It's just the best.
I don't know how many times I've seen that. It's one of those, like, I remember during my childhood, like they'd have the TBS or TNT would have it on or something.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
And like even with commercials, you're just locked in. As soon as
Yeah.
you get to Yavin, it's just like
Yeah.
you are watching this no matter what.
Yep. Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
best. It's the best. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but when I was doing a rewatch before Rise of Skywalker came out.
Yep.
I was someone that was like so mad about the special editions that I like stopped watching. Like I watched Empire a million times, but like I stopped watching New Hope. I stopped watching Return of the Jedi because I hated the
I am
special
team,
edition stuff
team
so much.
Yub Nub for life.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Yub Nub for life. If you want a pin that says Yub Nub for life, find me at my next comic book vending thing. I will give you a homemade pin that says Yub Nub for life with the Ewok on it.
Which
Anyway,
that might be Syracuse Collectors Con in March,
I believe that it is as of right now.
where
Yes,
you can find all of us, and by all of us I mean both of us.
that's right. That's
That
something
is
that
all
we're
of
going to
us.
start plugging heavily as the weeks go on.
Absolutely.
But anyway, it had been a long time since I'd watched A New Hope, and so when I was doing this rewatch, it like just hit me because I just hadn't seen it in so long. It was like really, really working for me to the point I was so invested in the trench run, in the suspense of it, that I forgot that Han Solo comes back and saves the day. So that when like
Wow.
the Falcon yeah, right?
Yeah.
I was so into it and I hadn't seen it in so long that I just wasn't thinking about that. And so when he showed up, I literally like jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Whoa, oh my God." Like I was so excited. I was like, this is what being 10 and watching this movie
100%.
feels like. Like, yeah, it was like I was able to like recapture that genuine excitement for it.
And that weird yee-hoo that he throws out there is just like, I'm like, what? That's not even a word, but it works perfectly. Nice shot, kid. Now let's blow this thing and get out of here.
It's just like Harrison Ford's like it's like his attempt at sounding like an excited person. I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's not his natural state. So he's like,
Right.
"Whoa, people are excited. What do they say? Yee-hoo or something?"
Right.
I gotta, I'll try that.
He was a crouchy old man at age 40.
Yeah, exactly.
Or what was he? He was like mid-30s when he filmed that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was still way older than, like, Carrie
Yeah.
Fisher was like 19 or something. It's insane.
Right. Yeah.
Just
I
how
think
young
her and
they
Hamill
Yeah.
were both like 19 or 20-ish in that
Yeah.
range.
Yeah, wild. Wild. Anyway, we're not talking about old Star Wars stuff, even though we certainly could for hours and hours.
It's true.
If you're excited, if that statement excites you, get excited for our upcoming May the 4th episode, or go back and listen or watch the one we've done for the last 2 years where we talked for over 2 hours about
Right.
ranking Star Wars things. Anyway, something that we might be talking about this May the 4th, if our the conversations that we've been having about it play out, are some of the television shows,
Yeah.
Star Wars television shows that we've seen. One that kind of stands out from recent-ish memory is one called Ahsoka. One that I liked. And I feel like I really liked it when it was on, but thinking back on it, it doesn't like knock me out. So I feel like I got to rewatch it.
I
You know?
think it's the definition of one of those that is, what's the opposite of greater than the sum of its parts? Like there were a lot of very cool moments and a lot of very good
Yes.
things that happened during it. And
Yes.
the overall arc, I don't know if hit where it needed to. I think it will need the upcoming season 2 to cement where it's going or what it's doing or whether it was good. I still
agree.
am very adamantly against what they did with Sabine, but if they make it work, they make it work.
I was a little surprised, like the Jedi thing.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I
didn't realize
she
you were
was-
adamantly against it. Sorry.
if it works, it'll be great, but like to me it almost cheapens the character because she was such a badass as a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like that's literally the only qualm I have with it. It's not like oh, they made her a Jedi too, everybody's a Jedi. It's like, no, it's because she was such a badass before that.
Right.
That's the only reason I don't like what they did with it.
Yeah. Like she was such a badass. You're saying that she was such a badass Mandalorian that making her also a Jedi is like a hat on a hat.
Exactly. 100%.
And I agree with that. And I think that might be why I bump into it a little bit too, but I don't think I as much as you, because I think the way they did it makes sense. And if you connect it to things back in Rebels where she's like wielding the Darksaber and
Yeah.
Kanan's teaching her about how to use a lightsaber and stuff, and the end of Rebels where she goes off with Ahsoka, so it's like
Well, I
those
guess
things kind of line up.
right. And maybe
But-
maybe it's one of those where if her pushing Ezra was a fluke, and like she goes back to barely being able to use the Force type thing or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that was a Luke in the Wampa Cave type thing of like, oh shit, I have to do this or someone's dying, or in
Right.
Luke's case myself. Like
Yeah.
maybe that, yeah, okay, sure, she got a little extra push or whatever.
Yeah.
But as long as they don't make her, the next Anakin Skywalker,
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to come to terms with it.
Yeah. I agree, and as long as she's not like a Jedi Master in season 2,
Right.
I think we'll be okay. And also, I did like that she was like, despite her training to be a Jedi, she was a little Han Solo-y about it, where she was just little like, this is all bullshit. I don't
Right.
give a shit about this. I don't want to do this. Which I thought made it more palatable when she's like, it's my dream to be a Jedi. Like that would have completely
Right.
derailed her.
Yeah, she definitely fits with the hokey religions and ancient tricks, or no match for a blast from your side type thing.
Exactly. Which I think is an integral ingredient to Star Wars. You got to have someone that's like, this is all stupid.
Bit of a skeptic, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Anyway, Ahsoka. They're working on season 2, as we mentioned.
Yep.
And one of the question marks after season 1 was what they were going to do with the character of Balin Skull, because unfortunately, the actor that portrayed him, Ray Fisher, passed away before the show even aired, I believe, right? It was like right before the show aired. But he had he was at Celebration talking about it. So
Ray Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
Ray Fisher. Who's Ray? Ray Fisher's from Justice League.
Yeah, Ray
He's
Fisher played
Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Ray
The
Stevenson. I
DC
wrote the wrong
still
Ray
comes
down.
through with you.
I just wrote the wrong Ray down.
Yeah.
I actually can tell you exactly why I did that, but I'll tell you off mic.
Okay.
Anyway, Ray Stevenson, thank you, passed away. And we found out this week that they are going to be recasting the role of Balin Skull, and I think that is a good idea because the show season 1 really seemed to set that character and his quest up as an important through line and plot point of the series. So to abandon that, I think would be a shame if Dave Filoni really had an idea and a place for him to go.
And Stevenson's acting in that first season was just absolutely like
excellent.
It enraptured you to that storyline.
Yeah, and I think he really became kind of a fan favorite character, certainly for that season and that series, if not an all around fan favorite. He's not a Sith, but dark side user,
right? Orange saber,
and we learned, not quite completely red, but mostly red saber wielding. Anyway, we learned this week that he's going to be recast, and the actor that will portray Balin Skull is none other than Rory McCann, a Scottish actor who you may now know from playing the Hound on Game of Thrones. And apparently, it's also been reported that Rory McCann was actually friends with Ray Stevenson in real life, so there's a little bit of poignancy there to be taking over the role. Still no word on when the series is going to start shooting, but I don't know. You'd think it would be pretty soon. Hopefully, anyway. I would like to see it sooner rather than later. So, Steve, going to throw it to you. What do you think of? Do you think it's a good idea to recast? And what do you think of Rory McCann stepping into the role?
I 100% think it was a good idea to recast, because writing that storyline out would have almost been. It would have been them trying to write around Carrie Fisher's death, and how we know how well that worked.
Yep.
The casting of McCann. I mean, my thing is the only things I've seen him in that I remember, like, I get he was also in Clash of the Titans, but like he was Lurch in Hot Fuzz.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever knew that.
No,
right.
that was one of the things I realized when he was cast as
the Hound.
Jesus Christ! Did you just yarp me?
Yarp.
Yep. But when he was cast as the Hound, that was like one of the things I was like, oh yeah, I think I remember this guy. But beyond that, like I don't think I've seen anything he's been in outside of Clash of the Titans, maybe. Slow West, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. Not big
Missed
on
that
the
one.
yeah, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah.
Was that a what was that? A Vin Diesel franchise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Sure was.
Not really. Wasn't really my wheelhouse. Let's put it that way.
Same. Yeah.
And apparently it was in Gladiator 2, which I haven't seen yet. So
Yeah.
overall, I think I mean he's an actor that has chops. I don't know.
Sure.
Until we see it, who the hell knows what like the gravitas that Stevenson brought to the role, and that kind of he played it with kind of like a not regal, but like very classic knight-ish.
I would say regal.
Yeah,
An air of regalness to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way he held himself was a very specific manner, and it'll seem odd if McCann can't meet that, but
Yeah.
if he can, then yeah, perfect. More power to him.
Yeah, and I think he has the potential to, because like the character of the Hound is one that across the series of Game of Thrones, you saw him you saw him develop like more depth to that character,
Oh, yeah.
and certainly more like drama. You know, when we first met him, he was kind of just a brute,
Yeah.
you know, more or less. And you know, we did really see McCann step up his like dramatic acting ability, and you know, his interplay with what's her face,
Arya.
Arya Stark there. Yeah. Was really great. And so I think he definitely, I think he's a really good choice for this for sure. And you know, he's got the same creative team. He's got Filoni directing him, and he's got season 1 to study what Stevenson was doing with it. So I think that, of course, it's not going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
You know, you can't ask an actor to just like, hey, do an impression of this person. You know.
Well, you could, and then it'd be Michael or Donald Glover doing Billy D. Williams.
Which I also love.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm really excited about this casting, and like I said, I do agree that it's the best way forward, because I definitely did not want them to abandon that storyline. It was too interesting and full of promise, I think. So
I would agree.
one quick Star Wars thing before we move on. There's not a ton of news tonight, but the Star Wars thing is the biggest piece of news we're actually covering. There's a small DC thing, and then like the Marvel stuff we have is like reports and rumors. So we're saving those. We're saving the reports and rumors. We're not leading off with those. Although if they're true, they're pretty big. Or at least one of them could be really big. But we're saving those because we don't put too much stock in rumors until something's final or announced officially.
We're not.
But anyway,
we're not
one more
fans
Star
of
Wars
the
thing.
Scuttlebutt.
Exactly. But one more quick Star Wars thing, personal Star Wars thing, is that I am continuing to play Star Wars Outlaws, and it's great. And see, Steve, you and I haven't really talked about it too much, because I haven't had a ton of time to do. I've just been kind of doing it piecemeal. I know the last time I said, I kind of was critical of it the last time I talked about it on the podcast, saying like, you know, say it's this open world Star Wars game, but it doesn't really feel that open.
Yep.
And maybe I just have to keep playing, and that was the case. Like I had to
You
enough
were still in the
missions.
like tutorial area type before
More
it
or
opened
less.
up.
Like you have to do a couple missions before the planet that you're on really kind of like opens up and becomes like, oh yeah, you can go anywhere. Take your speeder bike and go anywhere. I still haven't gotten off the planet though, and because you have to like build your ship, but there's so much to do on the one planet that you're on.
Yeah.
That I can't imagine, like, if there's this much to do on every other planet you get to go to, then this game is huge and this game is great, and I'm really loving it. It's really a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's one. It's on my lists. Like I think I've got it on my Steam wish list, and like I'm just watching for a sale on PlayStation just to see if it, comes around. I've got too much other crap to play through at this point, where it's like, for some reason, it didn't jump at me like the Jedi games tend to.
Yeah.
Where both of those I bought and played through immediately. I think they both also came out in a time where I had less crap going on.
Sure, probably.
Yeah. So Outlaws has remained on my to-do list, but it's 100% like it excites me that there's a actual open world, like, true sandbox Star Wars game out there, and also that isn't a Jedi feature.
Yeah, haven't seen one lightsaber. It's
Yeah.
really great. It's really great. And, most of the missions that I've done so far, you're just sneaking around Imperial bases and stealing stuff, which is
Right.
really cool. You got a cool blaster. Your mode of transportation is a speeder. Just like the way the speeder moves and like I don't know, somehow the way it turns, like just looks like really accurate. Like they just really,
Yeah.
it really feels like Star Wars in the same way that Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order felt like Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
But you're, instead of playing as Luke or Anakin, you're playing as Han, or Rey or whatever,
Right.
pre Jedi Rey. Anyway, yeah, it's great. It's great. So there's a plug for a game that's been out for 6 months.
Yeah. I guess
But,
you know
yeah.
what? You've played a good number of Star Wars video games,
A good number,
and you
not as
haven't
many as you.
you still haven't played Knights of the Old Republic, which will go down
Correct.
as my top call. But
Still waiting for that remake.
what would your favorite Star Wars game of all time be?
Oh man.
Throwing you on the spot here. Because
I think I'd have to say Survivor.
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor. Yeah. Because we were texting before we went live with our buddy Matt Peseta, and Battlefront 2 was really great too. Like that was a lot of fun.
yeah, it was.
But I think overall game, I think Survivor had the best surprises and gameplay and just stuff that you could do. I just really love that game. Why? What would you say? Oh,
It's got to be
Knights of the Old
KOTOR.
Republic.
Like
Yeah.
there's no
Okay.
Knights of the Old Republic was such a standout that it was just like above and beyond any, like it was a truly immersive game.
Yeah.
And this is back in the original Xbox days.
Yeah.
That like all of the side characters and all of the characters you interact with are great. Like they all have their own personalities. They're all extremely memorable. Like I know when we were for the pod, when we were doing the cons, we threw like HK-47 and T3 on the lists of favorite droids, and they
Yeah.
got a significant number of votes.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
Zelbar and Mission, like the companions in that game made you want to play more and find out what their story was. Like you were getting Revan's story, but you weren't like you didn't know what the other stories were until you went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And it really drew you down it. So
Anytime, because Darth Revan is another very popular character
Yeah.
that I see people talking about online, and as soon as I see the word Revan, I scroll away from it because I'm still trying to avoid
Right.
whatever twist that I know is in that game or spoilers or whatever, because I've heard enough to know that there are twists and spoilers. So trying so far so good, but I'm just really hoping that they get that remake out so I can play that.
I think
caught up with a 20-year-old game.
last time I saw, I think you're looking at like 2026 the earliest.
Yeah.
So you got a
yeah.
little more
I wouldn't be
scrolling away.
surprised. It's working for me so far.
Oh yeah. So Richard in the chat was talking about Dark Horse. Oh, okay. The Dark Horse Knights of the Old Republic comics. I got you now. I thought you just completely non sequitur in the Dark Horse comics, which I do agree are awesome. Actually, up on the wall over here, KOTOR number 0 is up there.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ew,
it's
fancy, man.
Well, it's like a $10 book, but
Still
it's
fun.
it was one of those where I
Important to
saw
you.
it and I'm like, yeah, that's one that just needs to be on my wall because it's a seminal piece of literature.
Nice.
I don't know if anyone's ever said that about Knights of the Old Republic number 0 from Dark Horse Comics.
That is a seminal piece of literature?
Yes.
Probably not.
No, I'm pretty sure that is the first time that's been uttered.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, in that vein, someone on this podcast just read the what I would consider a seminal piece of Star Wars literature in Darth Vader 2015 by Charles Soule.
Oh, that was me.
That was you.
I did that. It was great.
It reminded me because it was sitting right
Oh,
on my
awesome.
desk right next to me. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Mike just read that.
Very good. Hey, and how's this for a segue? Someone else in this podcast just read what I would say a seminal story work of literature in the realm of Batman, which
Yep.
is Batman, The Long Halloween,
Yeah, which was
for the first time.
It was literally the quintessential Batman story.
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
It was
and
everything
two,
you wanted.
Yeah, and a great Two-Face
Yeah.
origin at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Think of,
every
you know, like
even
now,
the cameos for like some of the like they threw every villain you could think of in.
yeah. Yeah,
And it's
great.
like even when they were throwing a couple of them in here and there, it still felt like them. It wasn't just like,
Right.
oh, they wanted to draw, somebody on the page.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, well, it works for what they're
Yeah.
doing. So,
Yeah. Not cool.
oh yeah.
And like so many Batman movies have drawn from Long Halloween,
Oh, 100%.
either in like mood or like, there's that scene where Gordon and Batman and Dent are on the roof of
Right. Like,
police
next
headquarters,
to the
and
bat
like that's
signal.
like they like the Dark Knight has a scene exactly like that.
100%.
So like
Yep.
they're So speaking of DC,
Oh.
something else that Steve, you called this weeks ago, kind of
Ish,
called
yeah.
this. When we were talking about Superman, you said, I bet we're going to see a trailer at the Super Bowl. And I was like, damn it, Steve, you are right. You're right. And this week, Warner Brothers confirmed
That we will see
get
it.
a new look at Superman during the big game. That's right. We're getting a special sneak peek, the much anticipated new Superman film during this year's Puppy Bowl. Puppy Bowl. Yes. Not
Did
the
not
Super
expect that.
Bowl.
But you know why they're
Puppy
doing
Bowl.
that? Because the Puppy Bowl is done on Warner Brothers channels.
Yes.
And it happens
Yes, it
during
is.
halftime of the big game.
Yep.
So you get to switch over and watch Warner channels for your puppy experience and your Superman experience.
Yep. You can see the Puppy Bowl on Animal Planet, Discovery, TBS, True TV, Max, and Discovery Plus. February 9th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh. The Puppy
and
Bowl
I
is not
think-
during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's earlier, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, that means
Well,
they'll probably debut it there and then they'll run it during the
I wouldn't be shocked if there still is a Superman thing during the actual game. That'd be crazy of them to not put it at least
Oh, I
you know,
did.
a shorter version of what we've
apologize.
seen already.
I did utter the words, the superb owl. So the NFL may come after the podcast because I did utter those two words.
Hey, I hope they do. Bring it on, NFL. Bring it on. You want to come after us small timers? Come on.
It's like squeezing money out of a rock, Mike.
Yeah.
Water out of a rock.
But
Whatever.
I also assume that this is going to be a crypto heavy sneak peek. I think that's the tie-in to the Puppy Bowl. It's gonna be crypto stuff.
That would make sense.
And a sneak peek could either be like a scene, or it could be like, here's how we designed crypto, or here's the dog. It could be like a behind the scenes kind of thing too. So who knows what this actually is? If it's going to be a trailer or what? But
maybe the dog that played crypto is a coach in the Puppy Bowl.
That'd be great.
Just deep cuts here.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah,
that'd be great. Well, we'll find out in a few weeks when we all gather around to watch the Puppy Bowl. But speaking of things that we'll find out about at some point, which I guess is everything that we're talking about,
right?
Really.
Literally, you could go
blanket
anywhere with
segue.
this one.
Speaking of things that sometime will be things,
right?
Jumping into some Marvel reports and rumors.
I believe we're
first up
reporting and rumoring on something that both of us have called for a long time.
Yeah, and this is pretty. This is more of a report than a rumor. I'm fairly sure. Hollywood insider and scooper Jeff Snyder reported this week that the MCU is looking to replace the late Chadwick Boseman as in his role as Black Panther, and will be recasting the role. And that an offer has actually already gone out to an actor, but it has been denied. However, the search is still underway. Now, Snyder also said that it's possible that it could be a different version of T'Challa, or it could be his son, or whatever. But and other scoopers have also said that it's likely to be his son. However, who knows? Who knows? Marvel has created this arena for themselves where anything can happen, and in my opinion, that completely lowers the stakes of any movie that you're watching.
Yep.
But so yeah, this could be like an older version of T'Challa's son that we met at the end of Wakanda Forever, or it could be, hey, I'm the Wakanda from Universe 6002, so here I am now. something like that. This would assumedly be for appearances in those two Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, or we also know that there's a Black Panther 3 in development. Denzel Washington spilled the beans on that. It's also being said that Ryan Coogler will have a hand in this casting, since it is primarily
Makes sense.
for Black Panther 3, assumedly. So, Steve, what do you think about a new T'Challa?
I think they 100% needed to do it.
Yeah.
I'm very curious if they're doing T'Challa, like older T'Challa, or his son. His son in Black Panther 2, which was released 3 years ago,
Yeah.
was like 6 years old. So either there's some weird wonky time stuff going on, which weird wonky time stuff is kind of a Marvel specialty at this point.
Yeah, I
Or
guess.
they're just going to, you know, cast another T'Challa that may or may not be from 616.
Yeah.
We are still in the middle of the multiverse phase, or multiverse saga, and weird things can happen. So,
Yep.
weird timey-wimey shit or weird multiverse stuff are going to be our two options here.
Yeah. I agree with all that. But what do you think they do with the Shuri version of Black Panther? They just like they're gonna keep. Are there gonna be two Black Panthers? Are they gonna explain her away? Is she gonna be like, oh, I don't, like, because like the entirety of Wakanda Forever, was constructed to build her up to the point where she was ready to take the mantle of Black Panther. So, I'm curious as to how they're going to deal with that element of the character. I mean, granted, it was less popular than the Boseman version of the character.
Yeah.
But, just because something's not, well, I was about to say just because something's not as popular doesn't mean that you should write it out of your movies, but that's actually probably
It's literally what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, we're talking about Chris Evans returning, and
Oh, yeah.
like that would put two Captain Americas on the screen.
Well, is there a comic book precedent for having T'Challa and Shuri both be Panthers at the same time?
I don't know that answer.
Because I know Shuri has been, but I was under the impression that Shuri had only been Black Panther when T'Challa was not Black Panther. And they needed a Black Panther. Like, because Sam Wilson and Captain America have both been, sorry, Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers have both been Captain America for like a...
Right.
So it's like, Miles and Peter are just both Spider-Man. So, but I don't know if that's true with Black Panther. And, even if it's not in the comics, who cares? You can have two. I'm not saying they should do one or the other. I'm just curious as to what they're going to do.
Apparently the original script for before Chadwick's death, the original script called for both of them to be Black Panthers together.
Okay. I didn't realize. I had never heard that.
So
that's great.
That's that's shown up on multiple fronts here after a quick googly.
Yeah. What do you think the odds are that they're trying to get Michael B. Jordan to come back as like a different, like, I think it would be too confusing. Like, oh yeah, I was the villain, but now I'm T'Challa now.
Yeah, it would be.
I think it would be confusing, but it's like, would it be less confusing than Robert Downey Jr. showing up but being Dr. Doom? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, no, I wouldn't like that just because.
I don't think I would either. I don't think I would either. I saw someone say it online and I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how I thought of it, but saying it out loud, I was like, yeah, I don't like
it. I think I had thought that a couple of times, like, what if? And then I heard you say those words, like you said. It's like, no, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. Yeah. Not down with it. I actually think it would be more confusing than Downey being Doom, because it's not like Iron Man and Dr. Doom were in the same movie fighting each other, and now all of a sudden one actor is playing the other one in a different movie.
Right.
Like, those Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan were against each other in one movie. So if suddenly they switched, that would be
Right.
more confusing. So, so that is that, and I think that's a good idea. But I'm curious as to how they will execute it. And something else that I found very interesting, and honestly pretty excited about, if this is true. Now, this is more of a rumor. This is unconfirmed reports, but from people that it's basically, where did I get this from? Oh, the Hot Mic podcast. So this is Snyder and
Well, and it was doubled up on superhero hype. So
yeah,
is that where they?
yeah.
Oh, is that where they? Pulled
And
it from?
also, I think they got it from there too. Yeah. But other co-host of the Hot Mic, John Roca, doesn't have as many connections necessarily as someone like Jeff Snyder, but he has something every once in a while. And they talked about. Oh, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. The first, I should say that this is not much of a rumor, but according to a listing on Production Weekly, as reported by a number of outlets, Marvel may be in development on a World War Hulk movie. Production Weekly lists, movies that are about to go into production or are in production, and World War Hulk popped up. So there are further reports that the studio is interested in having George Miller direct World War Hulk. George Miller from Mad Max Fury Road fame, all Mad Max movies, including Furiosa. Same reports also mention that Miller may be more interested in reteaming with his co-star of Furiosa, Chris Hemsworth, for Thor 5. Now, I think Mad Max Fury Road and Furiosa are so good that I would love to see George Miller direct either of these movies. And I'm not like clamoring for a 5th Thor movie, but if you tell me that George Miller's going to make it,
Right.
I am in. I'm in.
Now, at the same time, George Miller's already 79 years old and ain't no spring chicken.
Correct. He is a very old guy. But Furiosa came out last year, and that movie ruled. So if he can make that in the desert, then yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it, as long as he's feeling up to it. Now, Steve, my question for you. I've never read all of World War Hulk. I've read parts of it or seen parts of it or whatever. Didn't they kind of do World War Hulk like as part of Thor Ragnarok? That was like kind of World War Hulk-y, right? And then they also, the tag at the end of She-Hulk was like, oh, here's my son Scar. Like, isn't that like a whole World War Hulk thing?
That's another gap for me. Like, I definitely read some similarly. I think by the sounds of it, similarly to you. I know the outlines and the basics, but like I never finished the entirety of. That was kind of in my dark times of comics
Before the Empire.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So that it's 2007 was when they came out. So that was definitively like right in that era where I was kind of out of comics.
Sure.
And that is a gap in my reading list.
Okay.
But yeah,
from what I know, it seems like they have plucked themes from World War Hulk at least.
Yeah.
Now I think in World War Hulk he's like ruler of an entire planet. I think he starts as a gladiator, but then like takes over or something. So, I guess there's probably more material to mine.
Are you thinking
of course,
of Planet Hulk?
Oh, I am thinking of Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk is when he's like ruler of his own planet. They shoot him into space. The Illuminati shoots him into space. But wait, isn't World War Hulk tied into Planet Hulk? I think it's
World War Hulk is after Planet Hulk.
Oh, I thought it was opposite.
I think.
Man, if anyone's tuning in for the first time, they are tuning out immediately. Like, these guys don't know.
Yeah, World War Hulk. I'm going to use the Wikipedias because they're here.
Do it.
After the Illuminati banish Hulk from Earth, which was Planet Hulk, the spacecraft they used explodes, killing Hulk's pregnant wife, blaming the Illuminati for her death, and more powerful than ever because of the time he spent absorbing radiation levels on planet Sakaar. Hulk returns to Earth for revenge with his allies, which were the War.
That's World War Hulk,
right? So Meek was Meek came back with him during that.
Yes. So World War Hulk takes place on Earth.
Yes.
I was not aware of that. Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Planet Hulk was the Greg Pak,
Okay.
the Gladiator, the whole
All right. Well, then what would you think of any kind of world adaptation, whether or not George Miller is behind it?
I mean,
You're a Hulk guy.
it seems like one of the most popular versions of Hulk we've seen, or one of the more popular storylines. So yeah, I'm all for it. Like, if they can find a way to do it and make it not suck, because every Hulk movie so far has sucked. And
You think so? I think Incredible Hulk's great.
Incredible Hulk was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me rephrase that.
I've also
non-MCU Hulk movies have been really bad.
I've also honestly I've heard some discussion like tangential stuff on movie podcasts about the Ang Lee Hulk that has made me kind of want to revisit it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
That is one of 2 movies I've ever walked out of.
Whoa, walked out.
Yeah. Like,
didn't even see the cool stuff at the end.
No, I made it about 45 minutes into that movie, and that was it. And I was like,
wow.
This makes no sense. I'm leaving.
Well, I feel like now I want to go
Mall back in the freaking whenever it came out, and I was so excited. And
yeah, me too.
My sister and I went. My sister couldn't give 2 flying shits about anything, but she wanted to go see a movie, so we were like, all right, let's go.
Here we go. Yeah.
And no, was not doing it.
Well, I'm wondering if now, because I've seen it several times, but not in a long time, my expectations are reset. You know, so I'm being like, okay, it's not going to be
right.
You know, everyone went to that movie thinking it was going to be Spider-Man. You know,
right.
So going now, being like, no, this is like a slow kind of like drama about the human experience more than it is a superhero movie. So like, I don't know, I want to revisit it. Anyway, I'm interested in if a World War Hulk movie were to happen, does Marvel have to reteam with Universal? Because Universal still, to my knowledge, owns the rights to the Hulk, and that's why they don't make solo Hulk movies anymore. Because they have to split. They have to, I don't know, they have to pay Universal in order to use the character. So unless like the Hulk can only be a side character in other movies. That's why he's a teammate in the Avengers. That's why he's a partner in Ragnarok. But we haven't had like a Hulk movie. I think it's a very smart idea for them to make a Hulk movie because he's an incredibly popular character. You've got Mark Ruffalo, who everybody loves. So, yeah, make a Hulk movie. Do it. Figure it out. Now, this other report, this is a rumor reported from the Hot Mic podcast. Well, I guess it's, the person that talked about it didn't call it a rumor, said it's a report. It's a source that gave it to him. And that we know that Spider-Man 4 has been in development for quite some time. They're trying to get it. They're fast-tracking it, trying to get a script off the ground. There's been writing and rewriting and whatever. This report indicates that prior to any possible new rewrites, so they're not sure if this is happening or it was happening or still in the script or whatever. Prior to any kind of rewrites, the Hulk was planned to be the antagonist in Spider-Man 4. And that the plot would also involve the Punisher. Maybe Peter and Frank have to team up to try to take down a rampaging Hulk, which sounds like it would be really awesome.
Yeah,
for me.
Yeah.
I could watch that movie. Now, it was also mentioned in their conversation, Steve, you and I always talk about how we would love to read the contract that Sony has with Marvel regarding Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And one detail that I don't think I knew is that the part of that contract is that the MCU, for every Spider-Man movie, the MCU has to loan Sony one of their marquee characters to feature in that Spider-Man film. So that's why Iron Man is the mentor in Homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Nick Fury figures so heavily into Far From Home, and it's why Doctor Strange is a big part of the plot for No Way Home. And so this would track with that.
Yeah.
If it was to be the Hulk as an antagonist. Now, I'm not sure that would hold up for an entire movie. They may have to finally team up and defeat an actual evil person at the end, but I would watch a good solid hour of Spider-Man trying to stop the Hulk from destroying New York City. Like that would be a
Oh yeah,
pretty
100%.
great movie. Pretty great. And it would be more grounded, grounded, comic book grounded.
Right.
know.
No, that I'd sign up for that in a heartbeat. That seems like it's a great idea.
I agree. Yeah.
It seems like Hulk's movie rights may have reverted back to Marvel though, which may be where.
Is that true?
So last year was the 15th anniversary of the 2008's Incredible Hulk.
Sure.
And apparently 15 years after that movie was when the deal was set to expire. So,
oh, wow.
there is a good chance that Marvel has the rights back, which is why we're seeing the potential,
Why we're hearing
scuttlebutt
rumors
on
about a
the
World War movie.
Hulk. Yep.
Awesome. Well, Marvel.
I want them to do the current run, the Philip Kennedy Johnson run of
right?
Hulk that's going on right now, because give me horror Hulk and Banner and Hulk at odds and
Yeah, what was that the run before this? What was the one
Jesus, Al Ewing, his Immortal Hulk.
Immortal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
really good.
that was phenomenal too.
Yeah.
Hulk's been on they've been writing a ripper for him for the last couple of years.
I want Marvel. Kevin Feige, I know you listen to our podcasts every week.
Oh,
thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, Kevin. Really appreciate it. You should make a bunch of Hulk movies. Just start pumping them out. I want as many Hulk movies as you're making Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
But good ones. Good ones only, though. Hulk should get his own trilogy, starting now. Starting with a Mark Ruffalo-led trilogy. Don't be like, we're going to sequelize Incredible Hulk.
But they
do what you can.
They need to they need to find a way to goodly. I was going to say goodly. To goodly get rid of the Smart Hulk thing and split the Banner and Hulk back up, because
I agree.
I get it for the team ups and that he's a great guy now and he's the good guy and he is what he is.
Yeah.
There is something about Hulk when he is shattered and fighting against himself. That is the whole. That is what the Hulk is in a solo movie.
Yes, I agree. That's why it's great. It's Jekyll and Hyde.
Yep.
And you're scared of it and you can't control it. I think it would be interesting to have that be part of a movie. Him losing his ability to be Smart Hulk and his struggle with that and reverting kind of back. I think that would be a cool thing to portray. So they could even just write it in like that. And he's got to become the monster again for some reason, So we'll see. We'll see. I'm all down for Hulk in any way, whether he's in a Spider-Man movie or he's in his own movie. I would love more Hulk. And you know what? Yeah, George Miller. Hit him up.
Yeah,
see
why
if he's
not?
got one last crazy action movie in him. Because if he can do a Hulk movie.
I forgot Jennifer Connelly was in that Ang Lee Hulk movie.
Yeah, she is.
She was Betty. Yeah.
Sure was.
That cast, Eric Bana, her, Sam Elliott, Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte's pretty great in that movie.
Yeah.
He's a crazy guy, but he's pretty great in that movie. Right? I know. That's why I feel like I'm going to watch it again at some point.
God damn it. Now I've got to... Why do you keep making me watch horrible movies?
I don't know, man. It might be... Maybe it's not as bad. Maybe it's not as bad.
Well, we'll find out. One of us
Someday.
will find out at some point.
Maybe that'll be the first movie we do a commentary.
Oh, that would be... That should be
That would be an interesting series of commentaries where we watch movies that we are pretty sure are bad, and we're and we see
throw a Fantastic Four in there of some sort, and...
movies that we think deserve a reassessment.
All right,
not ones that we know for sure are bad, but ones where we're
right,
that's
so
pretty bad, but
take Fantastic Four out of that then.
Exactly. Yeah, we'd have to do some research and find ones that maybe deserving of a reassessment, but. Anyway, yeah, more Hulk, please. More Hulk. Just think about how crazy Mad Max Fury Road was.
Yeah.
The action stunts and that stuff. Crazy. Now imagine Hulk doing that stuff. Instead of a big truck running through the desert, it's just Hulk. And people are throwing spears at him and shit. That'd be amazing. I would watch that in a second.
100%.
So, neither of us went to Funky Town this weekend week. Because of our schedules.
I did catch up on a ton of books this week, though.
Yeah, I'm all caught up on Poison Ivy finally
Nice.
after weeks and weeks of build up.
I'm up
And
on the entire Ultimate Universe that I'm pulling.
nice.
So,
Nice.
which is effectively the Ultimates and Ultimate Spider-Man at this point. I did, you know what, Mike? You know what's crazy?
What, Steve? What's crazy?
I did a really stupid thing.
Oh,
Probably
let me
not a
hear about
stupid thing, but in my brain, I am currently not pulling in mainline X book right now.
Yeah, you mentioned last week that you were kind of falling off on the X stuff. What?
I made the decision when I went down to Funky Town because I went down there and Jesse didn't have anything for me.
Yeah.
Marvel hasn't come in a couple of weeks because they're Diamond is we
yeah.
talk if you'd like to hear the rant on Diamond, please see Funky Town or please see
Is Diamond? Is Marvel even still with Diamond though?
I think so.
Oh, I thought they left.
I said something about Screw Diamond to Jesse the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I know."
Wow.
So,
That.
but
Anyway.
either way, those books have not come in for the last 2 weeks.
Ooh.
And from my standpoint, like, I for one, I'm not going to pull them if I can't actually get them.
Right. Yeah.
But like, the stories weren't good enough for me to. And this is coming from even Uncanny with Gail Simone.
Gail Simone. That's
Like,
exactly the one I was going to ask about.
Some of the characterizations just seem off. It almost feels like very corporate over the toppy. And I'm not I don't know. There's been some weird stuff. Like, you know me, I'll ultimately end up revisiting it and reading it. It's just a matter of, like, I can't week to week pull it at this point. Like, all of the X books they're fine, but they're not standing out enough to pull.
Huh. Well, Steve, I'm sorry to hear that, my friend.
Yeah. But that said, I did pick up, I did add Ultimates or Absolute Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to my pull.
There you go.
Because holy shit, all of those are cooking. Like,
awesome, dude.
I don't know if you've been catching up on any of them.
Nope,
but
not caught up on any of them. But
they are real good.
Awesome.
And
that's great.
The Ultimate line is really good. Like, right now, alternate comics are significantly outperforming the main line.
Yeah, I know.
On both accounts.
And there's another big one that drops this week too, which I think I'm probably gonna pick up.
What's that? Is that Martian Manhunter?
No, I'm not. Absolutes.
Oh.
But we'll get there because this week in your local comic book store, you may find the following books, including Action Comics number 1082, Alien Paradiso number 2, Avengers Assemble number 5, Batman and Robin Year 1 number 4, Batman Superman World's Finest number 35, Black Lightning number 3, Challengers of the Unknown 2, Doll Parts A Lovesick Tale number 2, EC Cruel Kingdom number 1, Exceptional X-Men number 5, Feral number 9, FML number 3, G.I. Joe number 3, Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum number 1, Immortal Thor number 19, Incredible Hulk number 21, Laura Kinney Wolverine number 2, New Gods number 2, Nice House by the Sea number 5, Nightwing 122, Red Sonja 17, Rogue Savage Land number 1, Star Wars Battle of Jakku, The Last Stand number 3, Storm number 4, Titans 19, Ultimate Wolverine number 1, Steven, and Zootopia number 1. Yeah, I think I'm going to pick up Ultimate Wolverine. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything I've heard about it, that just seems like a take on that character that I really want to read.
Yeah.
And that cover is just fucking awesome.
Yeah, I know that all that stuff, and then plus just like the stuff that you've been telling me how great all the Ultimate stuff has been.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't realize that they were gonna do any more. Like, I thought the books that were out that was the Ultimate line, you know, X-Men and Spider-Man and Black Panther and whatever, and Ultimates. But then to have them come out with a character that I love so much in this world that has been so well received and so well done, hell yeah. I'm gonna let Jesse know to pull one for me.
Yeah. No,
Can't wait to see it.
I don't think they have another. I think this is the last one they've announced.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have another anything coming out after. But yeah, that's going to be really, really good.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I hope so. Speaking of things that are really, really good, do you want to talk about Skeleton Crew?
I think we need to.
I think we need to as well.
We can
Maybe
also,
a little. Are
we
you
can
caught up on
also,
Creature Commandos
yes,
as well?
we can talk Creature Commandos.
Maybe we can
'cause
talk Creature Commandos.
Damn, that movie.
Ooh.
I heard that show was good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. But anyway, we don't want to spoil anything for people. So if you haven't seen those things, is there any other regular stuff we should talk about before we send people away for spoiler warnings?
I don't think we've got anything on the docket, but
No, I
if
don't
you'd like
think
to
there's
see
any.
what the docket looks like moving forward, you should follow us on social media at the Multiverse Report on all the platforms that matter. Beyond that, feel free to check us out on your podcatcher of choice, the Multiverse Report. Like, subscribe, leave us a review. YouTube, again, like, subscribe, leave us a comment, talk to us live. Go hang out with Brian and Richard in the chat. That's what we got.
That's what we got. So I can't think of anything else to say either. So let's jump to talking about Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
And Creature Commandos. This is your friendly neighborhood spoiler warning. We're gonna start spoiling one of these two shows in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Skeleton Crew rules.
Yeah.
Rules.
Yeah, it's just a phenomenal piece of Star Wars. It is a
Yep.
great Star Wars.
It is a great Star Wars. It's a great Star Wars. I can't wait to rewatch it, like in quick succession.
I can't wait to figure out what the hell happens tomorrow because there's one episode
Yeah.
left and
One.
they've got a lot of things to tie up. Well, not a ton to tie up, just enough.
Yeah, enough. I love the way it looks.
Yeah.
I love all the actors in it. I think are great. The writing is really good. I'm about to say Easter eggs, but it's not even really. Well, yeah, there have been some great Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And
There's been a little bit of everything.
yeah, just a little bit of everything. It's just so great. There's the shot towards the end of this most recent one where they get to the vault and Jude Law takes like the one credit and then they all start falling and he's just like laughing like it's just so great. It's because
Scrooge
it's so
McDucking the shit
piratey.
out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so piratey.
Yeah.
And we've never had this much of a focus on the pirate world of Star Wars, I don't think. Like we see like Hondo and stuff in episodes of Clone Wars, but this is like an entire series that's pretty much about not even just the smuggler version, but like the pirate version. And like there's crossover there for sure, obviously. But I just think it's so cool because it's a way that it feels new but the same at the same time. Like it's not so far out of the box like the Acolyte was a little further out of the box for some people. But this just feels like right smack dab in the middle of what I love about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, hell yeah. What else happened in this episode? They got home. They got back home.
They made it to Ed.
Yep. Parents shot up the little beacon thing, even though they didn't need it.
Right.
Some cool back and forth with their ship getting tractor beamed and them getting abducted and taking back unclaimsies. RIP SM-33. Someone's going to rebuild SM-33, right? SM-33.
You would hope so. I don't know. He got sliced up pretty good.
Yeah, he's a droid. He can just put his head back on, right?
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, look what happens to 3PO in Empire Strikes Back. He came back to life.
It's true.
Normal. Totally fine.
And in Force Awakens, I didn't even recognize him because it was Red Arm.
I had to look at the credits to see if that was really C-3PO.
Said Anthony Daniels, and I knew.
I know. I was like, I guess it was him.
Yep.
I didn't recognize him.
Did you know he had silver appendages in the original movie, though?
I did that. I did know that. Yeah.
I still remember the moment that it was a long time ago, but like the moment I realized, I was like,
in a galaxy far, far away.
Wait a minute. Holy shit. Like,
yeah. It's like I saw it on a toy or something.
Legs silver?
And I was like,
what?
I was like, why is this toy wrong? His leg is silver in this toy. And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, what the hell? I didn't know that.
Weird.
So cool.
I bet if I asked my 7-year-old right now, he would think his leg's gold.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, do you have any predictions for the finale?
Predictions for the finale. Um,
We got a couple things up in the air. We got the
yeah.
supervisor thing. Like that's got to come
Yes.
back at some point.
We're gonna meet the supervisor, I think.
So do you think the supervisor is real, a droid, or someone we know?
I think the supervisor is real. I don't think the supervisor is anybody that we know, because who do we know that could be the supervisor?
My thought is it's someone that's been referenced a lot. That I can't remember the name of. The other pirate captain whose ship they're on. Is it,
Oh, Steve, you are 100% correct. That's exactly who it is. I guarantee you're right.
like he landed on
Guarantee
that
you're right.
and
But isn't that guy like 100 years old or something? I mean, I guess
I don't know.
Chewbacca's like 900. So
right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess we don't know if he's human or not. So
yeah. I guarantee you that's who it is. I guarantee you. You're right about that. Man.
glad I spoiled it for you.
No, it's fine. No, I think well, I think it's still a prediction,
Right.
but I think you're right. I think you're right. I don't think I would have thought about that.
Yeah.
But that's really, yeah. So it's still not somebody that we know, but it is someone who we have
Right.
heard the name of many times.
That I still can't remember the name of.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
But they'll say it tomorrow and I'll remember it. I don't think Jude Law is gonna die. I don't think anyone's gonna die.
No.
I think he's too he's too fun of a character to get rid of. So I think he'll escape or maybe just get arrested somehow.
Are we gonna learn about the force sensitivity? Or are they just gonna leave that up in the air?
I don't think I don't know. I don't need to learn about the force sensitivity.
I don't think I need to, but like,
Yeah.
do you think they
Especially
will?
not in this season. Like if they do a season 2, then sure, mention when if everyone trained you in the force or something like that. But like,
Right.
I don't need to know that because the force is accessible to everybody.
Right. Well, and it was until Rise of Skywalker when you had to be a Palpatine. When you couldn't just be no one.
Well,
Still mad about that. But
well, I'm mad about that too, but I don't think that changes the rules of the force. Like doesn't
No.
like strip it from like Broom Kid. Still, like Broom Kid is still canon. That's just a kid that can use the force. You know what I mean?
oh, yeah.
I wish that he tied more into Rise of Skywalker because it was really the perfect ending to perfect thread to start pulling on when you're making a sequel to The Last Jedi.
Yeah. But either way.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we're not gonna go down
Anyway.
we're not gonna go down that
Nope.
rabbit hole.
Nope.
What else? What else
I don't
of
think
this
anyone's
shit?
gonna die. I think the supervisor. I agree with you on the supervisor. Will the kids stay on the planet, or will any of them go with Jod, or want to be like, no, I want to go back to the stars? Or, I feel like they're all probably they're going to want to go back. They're going
Yeah.
to miss their adventuring life. You know what I mean? Or at
Yeah.
least one of them. Maybe.
I mean, Wim seems like the obvious, just
Yeah.
because like he didn't, as they were coming home, he seemed like he didn't want to come home.
He seemed bummed about it. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting one.
Do you think it's possible that At-Atin will reveal itself to the galaxy?
I would assume yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if like they break the barrier. Someone destroys the barrier
Right.
in some way. Like, you know what? Maybe it's going to be like the supervisor, whether or not the supervisor is the pirate, legendary pirate guy. The supervisor is clearly like going to be some like egocentric, evil, rich guy,
Right.
who wants to keep it all for himself. And that's why he's in charge. And that's why the barrier's there and blah, 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 blah. So maybe it'll be possible that the kids will be like, he's evil, this is terrible, we owe it to the people of this planet to destroy the barrier, and they'll like have to sneak in and hit a button that shuts it down.
Yeah.
That's a prediction I just made up off the top of my head right now. So
I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, or something in that vein.
it'd be great if we're just like unknowingly dictating the entire episode right now. We're calling everything.
Seriously.
If that's true, I'm clipping this out and I'm posting it every day. for the next 6 months.
We called it.
We called it. We called it in great detail. Not to say that makes it a bad show or predictable, because it's really been just super fun and great. Creature Commandos was also super fun and great and sad and gut punchy.
It was
Especially that
all
last
of
one.
those things. It
Jesus.
was all of those things and then some.
Which is also just classic James Gunn stuff. Like, he knows
Yeah.
how to balance those things. Like, Peacemaker was that.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad is that. You know, like a lot of the Guardians movies are that too. Like, Guardians movies too a little bit less, because Guardians are
Guardians
PG-13.
3? Guardians 3 was
Yeah,
100%
for sure.
Like,
Guardians 3, yeah, absolutely. But they're also all PG-13. So like
right.
he doesn't go as hard as he can when it's rated R.
Right. You can
Or
pull
animated, for
right.
God's sake, because Jesus Christ.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't thought, like, the whole time I was like, is Nina just a fish person? Does
Right.
she have like a power, you know? And turns out, nope, she's just a fish
Yeah.
person.
She just happens to be a fish person. How did she
Cool
end up
backstory.
Yeah. It's
But
just, yeah.
real gut punch. Real gut punch. When she gets stabbed to death and bleeds out in the pond that the princess is swimming in. Real bummer. Just a real, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Just
No,
sucks.
it was.
Yeah.
The bride at the end was perfect.
Awesome.
Like that was great.
She rules.
Oh, yeah.
She's great. And I know we're getting a second season of Creature Commandos. But I hope that she gets the chance to appear in live action, because that character rules. And
Indira Varma could pull that off like
she could pull it off.
business.
Exactly. And I would love to see. I'm sure we're gonna see it in season 2, so I'm excited about that either way. But her and David Harbour as
that'd
the
be
bride
great. Yeah.
and Eric Frankenstein would be great. Yeah. Way different character than I expected Frankenstein to be from the trailers
100%.
or from the descriptions of him. I was like, oh, he's like just a heartsick idiot,
Right.
You know, like he's basically like just an obsessive stalker guy, like, you know, or a classic
100%.
you know, an idiot dude who complains about getting friend zoned when he doesn't realize how much of a creep that he is.
Right.
You know, why doesn't she love me? I'm the greatest guy ever. Well, you know, that kind of thing. I did not expect that vibe from Frankenstein
No.
in Creature Commandos, but it was great.
It worked.
Great.
It worked so well for the plot.
So well. So, yeah, I mean, we don't have to go into the minutia, but I've been reading volume 3 of John Ostrander Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah.
And I need to formally announce that Viola Davis's voice has joined the pantheon of voices that I hear in my head when I'm reading characters they've played. Like, I'm reading Amanda Waller, I'm hearing Viola Davis's voice
Right.
as her in my head. Yeah.
So if Amanda Waller and Batman ever interact, it's definitely Kevin Conroy.
It's
and
Viola Davis and Kevin Conroy. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought she was great in Creature Commandos too. Like, her role's smaller. It was cool having Steve Agee's John Economos there as well.
Played to a T. Like,
played to a T.
Yeah.
And a new team at the end. Cool. And G.I. Robot's back.
And bigger than ever.
Updated body. Bigger than ever. A little too big for me. I thought it was cool that he was back, but I was
think-
like, I prefer the skinny one.
I would
like
assume
that
it was
one.
just a shot type thing, and he's not going to be a giant super mech monster. But like,
not a Hulkbuster
Right.
GI robot. Yeah. So I'm down. I'm down for a second season of this. It'll, you know, animation takes forever, so it'll probably be 2 years
Oh, yeah.
before we get it. But who knows if we'll see any of these characters in something like Lanterns or Peacemaker season 2. Well, we know Rick Flag Sr. is going to be in Peacemaker season 2, a big part in that, I guess, from we hear. But who knows where they'll pop up? But they're out there now, and I'm excited. I love the show, and I'm not sure. I know it was doing well when it started. I'm not sure if people hung on, but they should, and I hope that it. I mean, it did well enough that they greenlit a season 2. So I guess that's all I care about, because we're getting more of it. So.
Yeah.
So cool. Skeleton Crew, Creature Commandos. What's up next? What's the next like Is there a big nerdy? Oh, Andor is in the spring,
Yeah.
but that might be it, right? Or no, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Did that start yet? That's
I
starting
don't
this month,
believe so.
I think, sometime. Yeah. And I know Silo is wrapping up, but then Severance is taking over, and Severance isn't really a comic book show or a superhero show. I mean, it's not at all, but it's a great sci-fi show.
Still haven't seen it. I feel like it's right in my wheelhouse, but I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, you should watch it, dude. It's the best. It's the best. Yeah, I feel like Andor is the only one I can think of because there's not another Marvel.
Right, because we still don't have a date on
Show?
like Alien Earth, right?
Oh well, no, Daredevil's in March.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Daredevil's on my birthday, so we'll
There
get
you go.
that. But then Andor's in April, so that's going to be going on concurrently with Andor. I think, unless I'm wrong about the Andor date. Anyway, who cares? That's all I got, Steve.
Stranger Things has got to
Yeah.
be coming in there soon.
Yeah, that's true. That's this year. I forgot Stranger Things this. We just did a recap or we just
Oh,
did
yeah,
a
it's
forecasting
like
of
2 weeks
everything that's
ago.
coming out in 2025. We don't remember one of them. So,
Nope. No clue.
no clue.
I'm sure it's gonna be good though.
But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be good. I'm certainly going to be excited about it. And so yeah, we're going to sign off, and you should do all the things that Steve said to do earlier. Follow us and reach out to us if you need anything. We'll be back Sunday, next Sunday.
Yep.
To do the same thing one more time. And until then, as the
no,
two suns
actually, we won't be
No,
back next Sunday.
we won't be. We won't be.
We'll be back next Monday unless we're doing a live show from the hotel.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Monday. Okay, so we'll be another Monday, Joe. Thank you. Thanks, Steve. But anyway, until next week, as the two suns set over the burnt corpses of Owen and Baru Lars, we say thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, especially you, Kevin Feige. And we'll see you in the multiverse.